The NBA is a multi-billion-dollar industry with die-hard fans all around the world. While the league's rulebook has evolved a lot over time and people know most of the rules by heart, there are some that still remain a mystery and may appear to be weird. So in today's video, we'll talk about the weirdest NBA rules that you had no idea about.
But first, a reminder about our brand new giveaway. We're giving away a PS5 with a copy of NBA 2K22 and Madden 22. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.
First up, the no shatter rule. Nothing ever beats a hard dunk by your favorite player against their arch-rival team. While the solid dunks add to the popularity of the NBA and many fans buy those tickets just to watch some mean dunks live, it turns out you can't go berserk while dunking. The NBA has a rule, which may sound pretty weird if you ask us, that no player is allowed to dunk so hard as to shatter the backboard. Oh yeah, you heard that correctly. It's a rule. Anyway, the first player to ever break the backboard was Chuck Connors, who did it in 1946 with the Celtics. Afterwards, there have been a lot of rowdy players who did it just for fun. What's more is that in case a player does that, the points scored aren't counted, and the player who did it gets handed over a technical foul. Oh, and no, you can't say that you didn't mean to. Turns out, the NBA was sick of players breaking the backboards with their insane dunks mid-game that not only interrupted the game itself, but also added to the cost. If you think backboards are hard to break, we suggest you watch Shaq's dunk compilation from when he's in his prime. The man made it seem like a glass mirror. Moving on, the free throws timeout. In practice, the coaches advise their players to take their time when shooting free throws. They're told to control their breath and shoot only when ready. However, it turns out that while it's good to get in the zone, you can't take forever to do that. And yes, the NBA has a rule for that too, and as per the rule, any player who's given a free throw has to begin shooting the ball before 10 seconds have passed after the ball has been handed over to them. If the player gets carried away and waits too long before making the shot, the referee would call it a violation and give the ball to the other team out of bounds. Although the rule is pretty simple, yet there have been players in the NBA who just struggled with it a lot. A few names that come to mind are Karl Malone, Dwight Howard, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. While it seems that there wasn't any need for this rule, it turns out that sometimes even the very best players struggle with shooting free throws. LeBron fans could agree with that much, would say. Up next, must-use timeouts rule. You must probably know that each team gets 6 timeouts per game that could be used by the team at any time during the game. While the teams mostly end up using most of those during the game, however, the NBA also has a rule about the timeouts that not many people know about. Out of those 6 timeouts, the teams just have to use at least 4 of them. Adding on to this bizarreness, they must save one for use during the fourth quarter. If they use up all of their timeouts without keeping one for the last, the referee calls for a timeout and the team with none remaining receives a technical foul. We're not sure what's the reason that led to the institution of this rule. However, for the must-use at least 4 timeouts part, the reason was business. It turns out that the NBA introduced the rule so that the TV networks airing the game could use those breaks to air ads. Since a lot of people watch NBA games, those time slots are literal gold mines for TV networks. It'd be a shame if they couldn't air their commercials because the teams decided not to use their timeouts. And now, jump ball lineup. Seemingly, there aren't many rules in play when the game is just about to start and the players are all lined up for a jump ball. However, that's not entirely true. There's one rule in play at that time which, if violated, could lead to many complications. Apparently, the players have to line up correctly at the time of jump ball facing the basket they'd be shooting into. If the players aren't lined up correctly and the referee takes notice, there's a penalty. The rule states that if more than 24 seconds have passed when the referee makes the call, the game continues. However, if he makes the call before that, the play would get nullified and the teams would be back to the jump ball. If you're wondering how the teams decide which side they'd be at, the coach of the rolling team decides the side. Up next, bounce shot rule. If you've been an NBA fan for some time, you must have witnessed the rare magical play where a player makes the shot just before the buzzer and that final shot ends up winning the game for their team. Incredible moments, right? But if you've ever wondered what if the player made a shot right when the buzzer went off, would it count? There's a rule for that too. Apparently, for shots that get bounced off the backboard, the rule states that they'll be considered good only if the bounce happened before the buzzer. If the ball bounces off the backboard before the buzzer and enters the hoop, the points are counted. However, if the bounce happens after the buzzer, it'd be considered a dead ball. Moving on, banned accessories rule. The NBA takes its players' dress code very seriously when they're on the court. In fact, the NBA maintains that in every public appearance that the players make, they have to be in proper and uniform uniform attire. On the other side, however, players are free to choose whatever extravagant fashion items they want to wear outside the court. Having said that, to maintain uniformity and discipline when it comes to dressing, the NBA has banned many things pertaining to the outfits of its players. Some of the weirdest bans are ninja-style headbands, black masks, supreme sleeves, tinted glasses, and do-rags. What's more is that a while back, the players were also restricted to wearing only black and white shoes on the court, but this rule has been relaxed recently. Another interesting rule is that the players aren't allowed to wear Timberland boots even during fan events and press conferences. And now, the 4-point line. A disclaimer for this one. This rule hasn't been introduced officially and is still sort of in the pipeline since the NBA world split on it. Some people think that it would revitalize the whole game and add a new dimension to the competition. However, others frown upon the idea. So the thing is, the NBA is considering adding a 4-point line to the standard court. The reason is that there are a number of players who make shots numerous feet away from the three-pointer line. While it's not confirmed whether it'd actually be introduced or not, there are many teams who've already included a 4-point line in their team courts so that their players are ready when the NBA officially floats the rule. If you ask us, we'd love to see a 4-point line because, let's face it, it'd change the dynamics of the game significantly by adding a new facet to it. Up next, the rule that lets a player stay on the field even after fouling out. It's common knowledge that if a player commits a foul for a 6th time, they have to sit out for the remainder of the game. But not many people know that there's an exception to this rule that allows the players to stay on the court even after they fouled out. Apparently, when a team is already down to 4 players inside the court due to injuries or fouls, the player can still stay on the court even if they get fouled out. The reason for this is another NBA rule that requires each team to have 5 active players. But that begs another question. What if that player commits another foul? Well, in that case, the team would receive a technical, a team, and a personal foul. And finally, no punches rule. While the rule makes a lot of sense, it's been included in this video because it doesn't pertain to what you think it means. While it's common sense that punching and starting a fight in the middle of a game is a big no that could result in suspension, permanent bans, and fines, the no-punch rule doesn't cater for that situation. Instead, the no-punch rule dictates that none of the players is allowed to punch the basketball at any time during the game. It's important to note here that many players, when frustrated, throw the ball hard at the ground using their palms. That's allowed, but of course, punching isn't. The reason behind this is the unpredictable trajectory of the basketball, which could end up hurting someone. That's a wrap for this video. Which of these NBA rules did you find to be the weirdest? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.